old Deion Sanders is in the news again. But this time it's not his fault. It's that bigger crowd, baby. They call Urban Meyer, whatever. Oh, Urban Meyer said in an article that he really questions what Deion's doing at Colorado, running off all these players. Now, I don't normally agree with Urban, but I really do agree with Urban on this because although people are going to come out and like, well, they're 1-11, they're from a 1-11 team. So, really don't need them. I mean, they were part of a shitty team. That's true that they were part of a crappy team, but there's some players on that roster that are good enough to play on a Division I school. They wouldn't have been recruited to a Division I school. Now, I understand running off 15, 20 players maybe, but I think you've run off like 45 or 50 players or something, like 40% of your roster or something, 60%. Not sure the percentages. Maybe you guys and gals can tell me about that, some Colorado fans. The football god saith unto thee, like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. But you don't run off that many. Even back in the day when Bear Bryant was running off players at Kentucky and Texas A&M, now at Texas A&M he run off quite a few. And he ended up turning around, but that first season at Texas A&M, people don't realize this, Bear Bryant went 1-10. He ran off all them players. But that's back in the 1940s when it was a lot easier. People were playing two ways. Nowadays, you don't have that luxury, Deion. And to say you're going to bring in your own guys from where? The transfer portal? I mean, like I said, most transfer portal players are players that couldn't cut it at their former team. That's why they're in the transfer portal. Get a few golden nuggets every once in a while. You're going to bring in the rest of your Jackson State players. Now, Travis Hunter, great player. But the rest of your players, they weren't offered Division I or Division I AA or FCS or whatever you want to call it, scholarships for a reason. They weren't quite good enough. They probably at best one-star athletes. These guys that they're replacing while they were on a 1-11 team, they were probably good enough to be starters on the FCS level or even in the HBCU level. 1-11 Colorado team, if you put them in the HBCU, they'd probably go undefeated every year. Now, that's a hard reality for some people to come to grasp with, but Deion's he's not being very realistic, man. He was a great star player, but as far as coaching goes, he's not being very realistic about things, and he's going to find out the hard way. Now, he may end up turned around, so like Bear Bryant did with Texas A&M. They went 1-10, and then eventually built themselves up. And ended up getting a job at Alabama. But I just don't see Deion being as great a coach as Paul Bear Bryant. I mean, excuse me if I'm wrong, but I just don't see that. And while I do tend to agree with Urban somewhat, I also want to think that, people are going to sort of just smirk at that and look at it like, oh, okay. That'd be like Jimmy Swaggart calling Jim Baker a hypocrite. The two big corrupt preachers back in the day that got caught up in a bunch of scandal. So I really can't take any kind of joy from that because to me, Urban Meyer is a bigger piece of crap than both Deion and Lincoln Riley. And that's saying a lot. So I just take that with a grain of salt. But that's the college football grab bag of the day. Also, before we get out of here, I'd like you guys to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. I really need the subscriptions and the sharing. It really moves the algorithm, keeps me up and going. So heart down here, if you don't mind, hit that. Throw them a few dollars in the coffers. And as always, KMCA, all the other teams, class is now officially dismissed.